You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Sports fans, this is going to be a follow-up video. As you guys know, there will be no Lia Thomas in the Olympics going forward. Lia Thomas, biological male who identifies as a woman, dominated college swimming. Actually won an NCAA championship. A lot of controversy behind that. And the women, they didn't like it. And I believe that was absolutely unfair. So FINA's governing body said, you know what? We're going to put an end to all of this in water sports, even though there's a stipulation with that. Technically, males can compete against the biological females, but they would have to actually transition by the age of 12. I'm completely against transitioning children. I believe that is very, very dangerous, and it should be outlawed. It really should. But essentially, grown men cannot go over and compete against women in swimming. Now, guys, we got an update now. FINA has actually come out and made some more statements. They hoping that their stance now will actually influence other governing bodies of other sports to step forward and ban the trans. That's at least what I call it anyway. Here you go. Over here on Outkick, FINA's hopeful that transgender ruling will be considered by other sports. And of course, guys, since all this news actually dropped, the wokesters over there on Twitter, woke celebrities as well, these are woke, I guess, sports leads also, they're not happy about this. They're not happy about this because women's sports is actually getting saved. But let's read some of this, guys. After ruling that transgender athletes can no longer participate in elite swimming competitions, FINA, the world's governing body for swimming, is now hopeful that their decision will make it easier for other sports to follow their lead and restrict transgender persons from competing against biological females. It says this, quote, I would respectfully suggest that the transgender community look at the research, and the figures are unequivocally clear in the advantage young males have over mature women in sport. David Garrard, vice chairman of FINA's Sports Medicine Committee, said Monday per Reuters. As Outkick's Bill Gaff reported Sunday, 71%, the majority of FINA members voted for the new restriction, overwhelming majority at that. The updated policy states, in part, that male to female transgender athletes are eligible to compete only if they can establish that they have not experienced any part of male puberty beyond Tanner stage 2 of puberty before age 12, whichever is later. Now, you guys got to go and do your own research on this whole Tanner stage 2. I have no idea what that is. The argument by FINA, along with anyone else equipped with 2 working eyes and a brain, has always been that biological males have an unbalanced advantage when competing against biological females. There's no gray area. It is a fact, yeah. But like I said in my Megan Rapinoe video yesterday, she wants this invasion to happen. Even though I had a part in my video where I talked about a transgender MMA fighter, 45 years old, biological man, identified as a woman, got into the octagon, destroyed a woman in 2 minutes, fractured her skull. I mean, that was just brutal right there. But Megan Rapinoe says there's nothing to see here. There's no physical advantage. This is ridiculous here. But it goes on. FINA and Garrard would like to see their research and corresponding ruling make its way into other competitive sporting competitions. Quote, to my mind, FINA's approach to this was very enlightened. It was very balanced. It was informed, Garrard told Reuters. He continued, it recognized the athlete's voice, the scientific, objective evidence, and the somewhat more subjective human rights legal issues, which argued very forcefully. I hope that model is something that's considered by other sports. Now, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, who won gold medal in the Olympics, is backing FINA on this. You can see the tweet here. It worked. I took a lot of heat, but what's fair is fair. You go through male puberty. You should not be able to take medals away from females, period. But the wokesters not happy with this ruling here. Fox News. FINA faces backlash over new gender inclusion policy for transgender swimmers. Athlete Alley and others criticized FINA for approving the new policies. Of course, because, they're more concerned about being woke than actually protecting women's sports. So this is what Athlete Alley actually tweeted out. FINA's new eligibility criteria for transgender athletes and athletes with intersex variations is discriminatory, harmful, unscientific, and not in line with the 2021 IOC principles. If we truly want to protect women's sports, we must include all women. Well, guess what? All women are actually included. Biological women is all women. Now they bring up intersex here. Folks, there is an extremely low amount of intersex people here. And intersex is not the same as the whole transgender thing. Intersex is the way you were actually physically born. The transgender thing, that's in the head right there. This is ridiculous. And then also, Jonathan Van Ness, HIV positive celebrity here, doesn't know what he's talking about, not an athlete here. He actually attacks this because he believes it's going to stop children, because he wants children to actually be transitioning completely. This dude is out of his mind. He tweets out, another reason why these anti-trans laws that prohibit gender-affirming care of minors. All these laws and rulings are seeking to disappear trans people, and it won't work. There's no such thing for one thing as gender-affirming care. I don't care what you think you are. Like, I'm a man. I will never, no matter what, if I said, you know what, I want to identify as a woman, I will never, ever in my lifetime have ovaries. I will never, ever actually have a uterus. I will never, ever have periods because my biology says I'm a man. That is an undisputed fact right there. Outsport says we can and should find a path to inclusion for trans women in the female category of sports. We at Outsports have never been remotely convinced that full bans of trans women in the female category, like that handed down today by FINA, are the answer. But however, guys, FINA they're going to actually be looking at an alternative competition for trans athletes. So they're actually going to try to get something that's fair, which I'm assuming it'll be, trans participants actually compete against each other. And that's the way it should be. This next tweet here, FINA's new policy does not follow the IOC framework. Not only is FINA's policy discriminatory, but it will also encourage and allow the policing of all women's bodies in swimming. The only way to enforce this policy will be to violate the rights and privacy of all women swimmers. Well, when Lia Thomas was actually swimming at Penn, those actual female swimmers, guess what? They were exposed to some things that they weren't supposed to be exposed to. They did not feel comfortable. But none of these people care about that. These people want to be more woke than actually trying to protect women's sports. Jack Turbin, MD, okay, supposed doctor here. FINA just issued some unscientific nonsense, effectively banning the vast majority of trans women from swimming in female events. I'll highlight some of the most egregious nonsense. Guys, one thing that is missing in all this, guys, why don't you actually see these wokesters actually advocating for trans men, who is biological women, to compete against actual men? Why don't they do that? They know that they don't want to go down that route because these biological women would get destroyed by biological men because we have a physical advantage. And no matter what you do to even a quote unquote trans man, they won't be able to compete, especially in the physical sports, with biological men that are naturally men. They don't ever go that route, but they want biological men to go over and compete against females because they know that the biological man can dominate. And this is what they want, folks. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.